I mean, I was very mad at the Democrats when they lost because I said, my two big issues are democracy and the environment, and now I don't have a champion for either. So you lost, and that's what you gave me. So don't be mad at me for calling you losers, loser assholes who fucked this election up.
What is up, everyone? In this clip from the Club Random podcast, you've got Bill Maher sitting down with Chris Cuomo and talking about everything from the liberals destroying California and Bill Maher having dinner with Donald Trump. Yeah, Bill Maher dinner Trump. Now, this whole conversation spirals through regulation, red tape, woke politics, and eventually ends off with Maher defending his decision to break bread with the guy he spent years torching on TV. So let's just get into this clip because there's a lot to unpack, and of course, I'll be giving you my unfiltered take as we go through it.
Fair appraisal. Does it frustrate you that this place burned down as epically as we all watched it, and you don't see an equal fixation on what to change as a result? Not even from Newsom. And he's the one who paid the price. I mean, Karen Bass will probably pay a price. But
Newsom is on my show Friday.
And?
I can't wait to ask him. But I still think, apropos of what I was just talking about with the plastic, they haven't really released, maybe they haven't found it, but I bet you they do, how toxic these sites are. I mean, after a fire, it's always a disaster. It looks like hell. But is it really a toxic site? I think this one probably is more, there are more toxic sites than we have so far been apprised. And that's one reason why they haven't started to rebuild, because they're toxic waste sites. So I think they got to get that cleaned up if they can. Maybe they can't. Maybe it's in the soil. Maybe the whole fucking Palisades is the Goonies.
But don't you think that they should be obsessed with how to do things differently? And you don't even hear them talking about it.
Well, you certainly hear Newsom talking about it. He said, he's just started this podcast. I'm sure you heard that. He said he was modeling it on what I do on Real Time. Mm-hmm. He said, I want to talk to other people. His first guest was Charlie Kirk, who could be not more be on the other side. Mm-hmm. I like this. I like the new Newsom. I've been asking for this Newsom for a long time. So I think he's a great candidate if he was more of a centrist Democrat, and he seems like he wants to be. So I think it's great, and I can't wait till Friday and talk to him.
I can't wait to see what he says about what he's got working to make that not happen again when the fires come again.
Well, the whole thing is about this state is just so fucked with over-taxes and over-regulation.
Sure.
I mean, I last time he was on, I was, kidding him about the fact that I took 3 years to get my solar power turned on. Now I just had my roof redone because of the fires, because now I want a fireproof roof. 2 inspections, and you have to pay for those inspections, They're not free. And I asked this on the show last week. I see it got picked up by a lot of people. Why do I have to have inspectors looking at my roof? It's my roof. If it falls on my head, that's my problem. I don't need the government looking over my shoulder here. And this is why we can't get anything done in this state. Mm-hmm. The government is just too in our fucking business.
Honestly, it feels like such a relief that someone is finally pointing this out. And Maher just summed up every Californian's inner monologue in one sentence. The government is all up in your business like a nosy neighbor with binoculars. I mean, seriously, like what Bill said, it took him 3 years to get his solar power turned on. That is not climate activism, that's climate theater. They talk a big game about going green, saving the planet, but then make it harder to install solar panels than it is to smuggle Cuban cigars. And don't even get me started on the roof inspections. 2 inspections that you have to pay for your own roof. Imagine hiring someone to walk into your house and say, yeah, looks safe, that'll be $400. This is the part where you realize California isn't being run like a state. It's being run like an HOA on steroids. You can't breathe without filling out a form in triplicate and apologizing to a bureaucrat named Carl. And guess what? Carl makes 6 figures to to say no to your fireproof shingles. And Bill Maher isn't sitting here ranting because he may be a conservative. He's ranting as a guy who used to believe the system worked until he had to live in it, until the theory collided with reality and left a flaming dumpster fire behind. The punchline: all that red tape is being pushed by the same people who scream equity and climate justice while they drown you in regulation. Maher's pretty obviously waking up to that, and the question is how many more have to get burned down literally before they do too. So I think an excellent point. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on in the comments. Let's go ahead and get into the bigger point that Bill is going to cover here in a second.
And he was on last January, and I asked him about this and the red tape, and he had a big answer about, well, we're blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm going to find out what the exact blah, 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 blah was and see now that it's a year and 3 months later, what's been done. Because if it's nothing, that's not good enough.
It's hard for people in power to not use the power. And that's where regulation comes from. Some of it is obviously necessary.
They've got to cut the red tape. This is a blue state that runs completely on red tape.
Well, look, I mean, you can have a whole conversation with him about what he's doing with Medicaid. You guys give a lot of services to a lot of people who aren't legally in the state. And yes, you have a lot of people who are illegal in the country, but you got stuff to talk about. Let me ask you this, last question. You're going to meet with the president.
I am?
So Kid Rock makes it happen. What do you think has been the response so far? What do you think it will be, and why are you doing it? Which I'm totally for, by the way, and I love it.
I get it. Well, I'm doing it because, first of all, it was presented as
a dare.
not a dare. No, just like, maybe this is a beginning to heal America. No, I don't have some sort of complex where I think I can heal America. I can't. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not going to be healing America. But if two guys who've been at each other for so long, I mean, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credentials. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town. And I don't shrink from that. And I've also lost a lot of fans for that. The woke people have left the building, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Bill Maher just officially served divorce papers to the woke crowd, and honestly, good riddance. You can honestly feel the weight of that sentence. The woke people have left the building like they stormed out mid-show because someone made a joke they didn't pre-approve. And of course, Maher is not begging them to come back. He's the one holding the door and waving the people goodbye. I mean, Bill is the guy who built his brand on being the edgy liberal who hated religion, mocked Republicans, and got standing ovations for calling Bush a war criminal. But now he makes one too many jokes about 47 genders or questions why 6-year-olds are getting hormone blockers, and suddenly he's enemy number one. These woke ideologies don't just try to unfollow you, they try to erase you. And of course, Maher knows that. He's watched his fan base split, and instead of crawling back and apologizing with a Notes app screenshot, he's doubling down. And the twist that most people miss is that losing the woke crowd did not, take anything away from him. All it did was free him, and now he's got actual credibility. When he says something critical about the right, people listen. When he slams the left, it's not coming from the Daily Wire, it's coming from someone who used to cheer for them. And the irony of it all is the same people who once praised him for speaking truth to power can't handle him calling out the cluttish nonsense on their own side. It's like they only liked him when he was punching the people they already hated. So yeah, Maher is sacrificing the applause of Twitter activists and blue check room echo chambers, but in return, he's gaining what most media people lost years ago, actual trust. And for someone like him, that's worth way more than another clap from the same 5 NPR donors. So this is pretty exciting to see, pretty cool to hear, but of course time will tell how it will look.
But it does give you a certain credibility. So I just think to meet somebody, first of all, it's an honor to be invited to the White House.
Yes, it is.
And I've already had a couple of people who I said to them, I'm just going to take it as a backhanded compliment that you glide right past the idea that little Bill Maher from Rivervale, New Jersey, just a humble kid from the suburbs, was invited for a private dinner to the White House. You glide right past that to how dare you talk to him, and that you're not impressed by it at all. I'm impressed by it a lot. I'm impressed the fuck out of it. I get to go to the White House, and yes, that is the structure of this dinner, is just let's talk. Let's talk to each other face to face. Let's not stop shouting from 3,000 miles away, you know? So if they expect me to be leaving in a MAGA hat, they're going to be very disappointed, but I know they don't. And I think it's going to be, look, it probably will accomplish very little, but you got to try, man. You got to try.
I love it.
So there you have it, folks. Bill Maher very obviously moving in a completely different direction, moving far away from the woke left that he's been super close to and started to recently criticize. And apparently is going to be having dinner in the White House with Donald Trump. Of course, he specifically has said that he's not going to come out wearing a MAGA hat, which of course no one expects that. But I think this is a major step in a direction that's far away from where he used to be. Of course, as always, I'd love to hear what you guys think. You guys can let me know if you agree, what your thoughts are on this clip and the points being made within this clip. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.